Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Quick Expert Reviews. Today I've got a 2015 Lexus GS300h, the hybrid model that I've managed to obtain from Lexus recently. So yes, what's under the bonnet? Weirdly enough, it's a 2-liter petrol engine mounted to an electric motor, but it's not a V6 or anything like that. It's a box standard 4-cylinder engine, so not like the V6 in the GS250 or the V6 in the GS450h of the fourth generation of the GS. But yeah, it's all about the fuel efficiency in this car. Even though it weighs nearly 2 tons, it's all about the fuel efficiency, so which I'll cover later on. As you can see, it's completely different design from the third generation, and the rear kind of reminds me of Kia cars. I don't know why, but yeah, it looks very stylish. Obviously, you do have the parking sensors as standard in the bag and so on. The boot is enormous, as opposed to the third generation GS450h, which I had reviewed twice. So the batteries are flat now, but you still can't fold the seats. So if you've got, I don't know, some set of skis or a Christmas tree or something, that has to go either inside the car or on the roof. And weirdly enough, there is no self-closure of the boot like on the third generation. Bear in mind it's a luxury trim, so it's not the high-end Premier, it's not the F Sport, but it's also not the low-end trim. It's like in the middle, so there are some bits missing in terms of convenience, but I'll cover that later on. There is a lot of space in front. You've got a 12.3-inch display that splits into, I would say, two. Obviously, when you press the button start, because the car supports keyless entry like the third generation, the car comes alive with a Lexus logo coming on the display. Here you've got all the shortcuts for heating up your seats, operating climate control, and so on, purely because that unit in here, that 12.3-inch display, it's not touch display. You have to maneuver with I don't know how to call it, a mouse, a trackpad. I'll show you that later on, but this is what it is. The display split into two, so on the left hand side you can, for example, have a sat nav. On the right hand side you can, for example, either operate the climate control, or you can see what songs are playing from your phone. You can obviously stream the music. Yeah, that's the Joy controller that you have to use to operate that. You can stream the music from your phone. The car obviously audio supports A2DP. And like you can see, you've got the car, so the car displays all the information about the hybrid powertrain, or if you're regenerating power or not when you're braking, and so on, so on. Nav is a sat nav. Info is your info on how much miles per gallon you're doing. Climate control is a climate control, but like I said, you don't have to operate it through this. You can press the buttons, so it's kind of doubles up, to be honest. Obviously the climate control is dual zone, so your passenger can have a separate temperature set. It's a bit fiddly, I would say, the whole Joy-Con joystick thing. You do have Google Smart View, which is pretty decent, but it's a pretty fiddly. So especially when you're driving, when I'm driving on our Mancunian roads, avoiding the potholes, I'm not really gonna fiddle with some sort of a joystick or a mouse or whatsoever. And yeah, this is the monitor that like I said before, it shows you the display of the battery, the capacity of the battery, how much charge is there left, and so on, so on. Now, because it's it's not a plug-in hybrid, it's a hybrid that keeps recharging from the braking, from petrol engine, and so on, the batteries. You don't have to plug it in or anything like that, and the car is obviously eco-friendly, environment-friendly. However, do bear in mind that the GS series are more of a performance-orientated cars rather than economic like Prius or Yaris or Auris. So in here you've got a couple of buttons. You've got the traction control off, you've got the BSM, which is blind spot monitor, so when someone is in your blind spot and he's trying to overtake you, but you can't see him in the rearview mirror, you'll see a small icon showing on your wing mirrors. that there is a guy that's trying to overtake you, or there's a guy that is in your blind spot. That was a trunk and fuel opener, so no more hidden buttons like on the third generation GS. Yeah, and Mark Levinson audio, but like I said, you do have all the shortcuts for the heated mirrors and all that jazz. Obviously the mirrors do fold when you turn the car off. You've got the the armrest compartment, then you've got the jog dial in here that goes from eco to normal to sport. I didn't find sport very sporty, to be honest, and even in sport mode the car does like 9.76 to 60, so like I said, it's not a performance oriented car, even if the F Sport trim. In eco mode you can drive for only purely on the batteries, but only for 2.5 miles, so kind of defeats the purpose. So I would say it's better to just drive normally in normal mode. That's the best MPG I've managed to get. And yeah, that's how it looks, that's how it works. As you can see, straight away the phone connects. What's pretty clever is that when you leave the car, you don't press the button anymore like on the third generation. You squeeze the handle and then it locks the doors. Now if you want to get in the car, you slide your hand behind the handle and then you open the car. So fully keyless entry. Same with the boot, you don't have to open the boot with the remote or the button. You just approach the boot and you lift your hand underneath the reg plate mirrors, reg plate lights, and yeah, that's how it works. So cup holders, it is quite spacious, like I said before. The front feels like it's been pushed backwards, so it's not like on the third generation. It reminds me of a second generation GS, to be honest, especially all that leather trim. As you can see, you do have paddle shifts, but then again it's a CVT gearbox, so it doesn't do much. It basically simulates the shift changes rather than actual changing the gears. You do have pretty convenient charger in here, so you've got 2 USB ports plus an aux aux input, which means that if you want, you've got an older iPod, you can plug it in through that, or you can just plug it into the USB. You obviously do have the cigarette lighter there in as well. Now what I'm going to show you is that you can see that you've got the charge, eco and the power options in here. Now when you change the jog dial into sport mode, it turns red and it simulates like I said, the rev counter, but obviously there is no rev counter in the car purely because of the CVT and the hybrid powertrain. I have to admit that in terms of miles per gallon, I thought it's actually the needle is broken, because it does like ridiculous amounts of MPG, 60 MPG, 60 to 65 I managed to yeah, that's as you can see, the rev counter, which doesn't actually do much apart from like simulating the revs. Notice that how it changed the color as well to red, which kind of indicates the sport mode, but nothing else really. The accelerator pedal in the sport mode feels stiffer, and there is a bit more response in acceleration, but like I said, it's not something that you would like, I'm not saying this car is dangerous in driving or anything like that, like if you try to overtake someone. No, it's pretty decent. It's just like it's a nearly 2-ton car, and it's a 202 brake horsepower engine, which is both the petrol and the electric engine are both give you like around 202 brake horsepower, so that's not really much, but it's a really pleasant car to drive. So yeah, let's take it for a ride. Hello and welcome to Quick Expert Reviews. Today we're gonna review a 2015 Lexus GS300h. That's a 4th generation of a Lexus GS. Me myself personally, I've got a GS450h, the 3rd generation, so there will be a lot of comparisons with the previous model. So the first thing I've noticed compared to mine is that there is more noise inside the cabin compared to the third generation. That's a bit awkward because usually you improve on something, you don't go backwards, but it seems like Lexus decided to go backwards with this one. Or there were a lot of complaints that it's too quiet, too refined with the third generation, so the fourth generation is a bit louder. Apart from that, that's the 300h, so it's a 4-cylinder engine, a petrol engine, working together with an electric engine. It gives a power output of around 202 brake horsepower. Now, it's not a speed demon, it's not very fast at all. From 0 to 60 miles it takes around 9.7 seconds. I know it's a 2-ton car, but then again it's not decent enough to compare it to, like, for example, BMW 5 Series, the 2.5 diesel or the E-Class. So it's a bit daft, to be honest, but yeah, that's their decision. However, the good news is that the car gives you around 60-70 miles per gallon, and it's actually true, it's quite accurate. So to be honest, I was shocked. Mine averages around 35-38 at the most, but that's like, you know, old grandpa's driving now style. Now with this one it's around 60-70 on like usual driving, which is very decent. You do have a special sport mode where the EV counter changes to like a Rev Counter, but obviously it's a CVT transmission, which means there are no gears, and therefore I don't know why the Rev Counter is here. It is red, it's flashing red, it's probably wants to make you feel like you're in a sporty car, but it won't change much. It changes the accelerator pedal responsiveness, but that's about it. The car accelerates with exactly the same speed. So the next thing is that finally the boot is very spacious. So with mine, it was, when I put the pram in, it's full. It's basically, that's it, you can't put anything else. With this one I suppose you could put like two prams at the most, and you'll still have some space for like some clothes or bags, which is brilliant because you have to remember that there are batteries in this car as well, since it's a hybrid. You still have the Mark Levinson audio system. The new feature is that you've got a blind spot monitor, so when you're trying to change a lane or you're going past someone, there's a small indicator that lights up. You're going to see that on the picture, and it shows you that basically you shouldn't do that because there's a car in your blind spot, and it might not be the best idea. The next thing, again, I think it's going backwards, is that you cannot set up the, you can set up, you've got a seat memory, so you can set up 1, 2, 3, so if there are like 3 drivers, everyone can set up their own steering wheel position, the chair position and all that. However, I don't know why the passenger can't do that anymore. So in the third generation you could do it, and this one you can't. So basically, if my wife is driving with me, she's on the passenger seat, that's fine. But if someone else gets to the car and they are adjusting the seat, then she comes back, she has to do it again. So I don't know why, but that's again going backwards. And that's not because of the trim level, because the one we are driving now is a luxury model, luxury trim, which means it's got all standard and additional equipment in it, like Mark Levinson audio system. Another thing that's missing is the rear sunshade, which I don't know why, but whoa, okay, that was a close call. Which again is missing, I don't know why. I thought it might be because there are like different trim levels. With the third generation, the one I'm driving, is you had 3 trims, so a 450h, 450h SE and 450h SEL. The main difference was the laser cruise control on the SEL and the moonroof, and that's about it. So with this one we've got 5 trim levels, and that's the top of the range, and it's missing a sunshade, rear sunshade. That's a bit but now all the positives. So it's very comfy to drive. The third generation was comfy, but this is next level. Like, believe me, this is next level. I know that with the previous car, the Lexus engineers have spent like 5 years designing the seats. I don't know how much time I've spent with those, but they are unbelievable. I've been driving for 40 miles now, and I feel like a newborn, like I didn't drive at all. Again, it's very spacious inside. It's only 40 millimeters longer on the front and 60 on the back, and I think 20 millimeters on the sides, but inside it's very spacious. It feels like you could go for a walk. So that's a positive. Standard equipped level, so the bottom level SE comes with heated seats, electric side mirrors, wing mirrors, comes with parking sensors and all that, where like for the Mercedes or a BMW you have to pay additional amount of money, around £1,000. So you got that equipped as a standard. The luxury version comes with a parking cam, a rear parking cam, comes with a sat nav 12.3 inch, comes with a comes with all the 12 airbags and all that stuff. So pretty decent equipped car, standard in standard trim, SE. The next thing I've noticed is that it handles in corners very well. So mine felt like you're driving a battleship or a cruiser. Now with this one it's very comfy, but in the when you corner the car, it feels very responsive, very nice. So pretty decent for a two-ton car. The next thing is, I've mentioned about the engine and the power output. Unfortunately, when going uphill, you can feel that the car is underpowered. It's a normal four-cylinder petrol combined with that electric engine I mentioned before, but still it feels like, what's going on, like it's gonna take ages to overtake. And that luckily doesn't happen on the motorways. On the motorways it goes very smooth, very fast. Overtaking is decent, even if you're driving like 60 miles per hour. So that's good, obviously. Apart from that, the seats in the back are very comfy. You've got more headroom as well, compared to the previous generation, or even the 5 Series, to be honest. It's a rear-wheel drive car. We've got a couple of modes. So we've got the snow mode, which slows down the wheels if you're skidding or if you're put too much power towards the rear wheels. Apart from that, the new thing is that the EV mode. So EV mode is electric only mode, which means that when you turn it on, the car runs only on the electric engine. So if you want to save money going to the off-license store next to your house, you can put it in the EV mode, because the range of the EV mode is only around 2 miles, 2.5. So quite similar to the previous generation. Now the thing I don't get is that why have you got paddle shifters? So basically you usually put that on a very sporty, very powerful cars. Now with this one I can put it in the sport mode, so I'm changing the gears now and not much happens, to be honest. Okay, right, let's put it in the sport mode. Oh. Alright, let's have a look then. like the sound of the engine, but obviously it's not a V6 or a V8, so it's okay. It won't let me downshift. Not a joy to drive, to be honest. Let's put it in the normal drive mode then. But yeah, you've got paddle shifters if you want to play with them. They are a bit slow though, so you have to bear in mind that if you're planning to overtake someone, just do it in the normal drive mode instead of this. Overall, I am impressed with the car. There are some things that I don't know why Lexus has decided to change, but it feels very, very luxurious, very royal, if I could call it like that. The ride height is very nice. It's not an SUV obviously, but you do feel that it's very distinctive, like and calm. The audio system is unbelievable. It's out of this world. I mean, I've got a Mark Levinson, but this one is even better. So yeah, it's basically a concert hall on the wheels. You can play DVDs as well. You can play from Bluetooth. You can play from USB. You can obviously connect your phone if you want to listen to music from your phone. It works with any phone. You've got a really nice layout, like I said before. You'll see that on the pictures as well. So the dashboard is really nice, really posh. The brakes are unbelievable. I mean, it's not a WRX Impreza, but truth be told, the brakes are really good. It brakes very fast and very firmly. However, you don't feel that you're gonna, I don't know, smash your face against the windshield or anything like that. No, it's again very comfy, very forgot the word, yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Next time we'll try and review the Lexus IS300h, followed by a CT200h. So thanks for watching and see you next time, guys. Bye. Another thing to add is that they've improved the display. I mean, improved in terms of a side. You've got a 12.3-inch display. However, the sat-nav itself is around, looks like an 8-inch. And then you've got the second half of the display, which shows you who's calling you. It shows your parking sensors. It shows the next song that you're going to play, and so on and so on. So it's quite clever. However, operating the whole system is a bit awkward. So you've got like a mouse pointer or something like that. It's like a mouse controller where you accept everything with it and so on. Now it works brilliantly perfect in terms of like when you're in a traffic or when you're in a full stop, but when you're driving you can't just press a button and, like, you know, go somewhere. You have to press menu, and let's say I want to turn the aircon on. I'm driving now. Okay, I'm slowing down, but I need to go to climate, and then I need to go to 3 dots, and then I need to press AC like an aircon and so on. It's nice, but the question is it that easy to operate? Now, the thing is with mine,